Okay, here is the last mesoionic molecule of the type A category, and you can read from here the name is 1,2,3 oxadiazolium 5 olates, and these are commonly known as the sydnone molecules, right? And if you remember, when we started this chapter mesoionics, the first thing to discuss there was what it was, the sydnone molecules, from where the concept of this mesoionics all started, right? So it is the eighth and the last molecule of type A category, and the naming will be like what? If you remember the rules of the naming, we will be starting numbering from the oxygen family. So let me write here number 1 in this way, followed by 2 to this nitrogen, 3 here on the second nitrogen atom, 4, and then comes number 5 to our exocyclic atom right here. Okay, so the numbering will of course be in this direction, because in doing so the heteroatoms inside the ring, they are getting the lowest numbers. Okay, and now you can see here that on one position we are having what? We are having oxygen, so it will be 1 oxa, and on position 2 and 3 here we have 2 nitrogen atoms. This means it will be a diazo, so we can write here diazolium, and on position 5 there is present the single bond oxygen negative, that is the exocyclic atom, so we will be calling it as the 5 olate. Okay, so the whole name of this sydnone molecule will be what? It will be 1,2,3 oxadiazolium 5 olate. Okay, so it is using the same type of rules which we are discussing from the very first lecture in these mesoionic compounds, right? And moreover, in the same way, what we can do is we can always go for drawing the symmetrical axis here passing through the oxygen atom and keeping 2 double bonds in this way, the first one here and the second one here, such that now a positive charge will appear and the negative charge here is present on this oxygen atom as usual. And this is what? This is the equivalent structure for this type of structure here, right? And moreover, we can also go for drawing the second resonating structure from this equivalent structure. And how we can do that? Simply by shifting these negative electrons onto this side, which will shift these pi bond electrons onto this carbon atom bearing this R2 group, resulting in the formation of or generation of a negative charge here, and this will become a double bond oxygen. Okay, so this is the similar type of structural representation as well as the resonating structures in case of this particular sydnone mesoionic molecule, and it is on the same basis which we are using from the very first lecture, right? And now it's time to discuss the synthesis of this sydnone molecule. You can see here we can start from an amino acid. This means this will be our main reactant molecule. Let me write here, it will be the main reactant molecule, and carrying out nitrosation reaction on this amino acid, we will get what? We will get this type of N-Nitroso amino acid, right? You can see here on this nitrogen atom, now in place of this hydrogen, we are having what? We are having this nitroso group here, right? So we will first of all discuss the mechanism of this nitrosation, that how from this amino molecule or amino acid we can get this type of N-Nitroso amino acid. And after that, you can see here on your screen that we can always represent this type of structure in this type of structure here, I mean this type of structure, and carrying out the cyclodehydration using some dehydrating agent such as trifluoroacetic anhydride with a similar type of mechanism which we have discussed at least 2 to 3 times in our previous video lectures. It will result in the formation of this required mesoionic sydnone molecule. Okay, so I will not be discussing the mechanism of this cyclodehydration because we have discussed it so many times, but I will surely be discussing that how we can get this structure starting from this type of amino acid. I mean how we can carry out the nitrosation starting from this NH R group here on this side and some R group here on this side. Okay. Now for this, what is required is two different reagents are required. Let me write down the first reagent here, that is nothing but the HCl or the hydrochloric acid. And the second is what it is, NaNO2 means the sodium nitrite, right? So here you can see I have written the mechanism of the conversion of some amine into the N-Nitroso derivative, right? So here you can see here we have some amine molecule, and these are the two reagents here. This is the first reagent and this is the second reagent. What they can do is they can always dissociate in water. The solvent here is water, of course. So resulting in the formation of H positive and Cl negative ions. On the other hand, the sodium nitrite will be dissociating in the form of what? Sodium ions and this type of NO2 negative ions. So now the opposite ions will attract each other, means the Na positive ion will go to the Cl negative ion, resulting in the formation of sodium chloride, I mean NaCl, and these H positive ions will be moving towards the NO2 negative ions, resulting in the formation of HNO2, which is also known as the nitrous acid, having a structure something like this here, right? But still, because HCl is present in the reaction, which will be giving these H positive ions, so they will be going to this hydroxyl group here, carrying out the protonation of this oxygen, giving what? Giving this type of leaving group here. And after that, what is going to happen is that it will be leaving from this molecule in this way, in the form of a molecule of water, such that now a positive charge will appear on this nitrogen atom, which you can see here, right? Resulting in the formation of this type of nitrosonium ion, which is actually, which is actually what? Which is actually an electrophile here, right? So we can say here that the combination of this HCl plus NaNO2 is doing what? It is just giving the nitrosonium ion, which is N double bond oxygen positive, and it is a type of an electrophile. Let me write here electrophile. And now you can see here this is our amine molecule, and it contains a lone pair. This means it can act as a nucleophile. So basically it is nothing. The next step is just a nucleophilic electrophilic type of interaction. It will be interacting with this nitrogen atom having the positive charge, resulting in the formation of a bond with this N double bond oxygen in this way here. And finally the positive charge on this nitrogen atom, because it is an electronegative atom, so in order to get rid of this positive charge, it will simply lose a proton from here, resulting in the formation of this type of RNR. And in place of this H here, what happens is that this N double bond O group, I mean the nitroso group, will just come, right? So the same thing is happening here. The nitrogen lone pair will be simply attacking here in this way, resulting in the formation of N double bond O, and a positive charge will now appear here, which will now lose a proton from itself, means H positive, and now it will result in the formation of this type of N-Nitroso derivative. N-Nitroso derivative of what? This amino acid. So we can better call it as an N-Nitroso amino acid molecule, which can be represented in this type of structure. I have just redrawn this structure here into this structure. It is exactly the same thing. And now what happens is that the cyclodehydration in between this part of the molecule and this part here, which will be releasing a molecule of water from a similar type of mechanism which we have discussed in our previous lectures, will be resulting in the formation of a bond in between this part and this part, such that we will be having a 5-membered cyclic structure here of our mesoionic sydnone molecule, right? So this is the synthesis of the sydnone molecule, sydnone mesoionic compound, right? And now let's have a look on the chemical reactions of these sydnone mesoionic compounds. So the first thing is, or the first reaction is what? It is with symmetrical type of alkynes. So here you can see I have taken a symmetrical alkyne, which will be acting as the dipolarophile in this reaction. To start with, I can say that the reaction will be of course, of the 1,3 dipolar cycloaddition type. So we will be requiring some dipolarophile, and our mesoionic molecule will be acting as the 1,3 dipole, right? So here is the 1,3 dipole, the symmetrical alkyne as the dipolarophile will be giving some sort of cyclic adduct like this here. Finally, upon heating, releasing a molecule of CO2 will be giving this type of more stable 5-membered cyclic product, which is actually a substituted type of pyrazole, right? It contains 2 double bonds. It is a 5-membered ring here containing 2 nitrogen atoms. Such type of molecules are generally known as the pyrazoles. Let's see what the mechanism says here. So we can always represent this type of sydnone molecule or this type of structure of our mesoionic into an equivalent resonating type of structure, I mean this. So better to put a double-headed arrow here in this way, such that this nitrogen here will be having this positive charge and this carbon this negative charge here. The olate part, I mean single bond oxygen negative, will now be appearing as a double bond oxygen. And the interaction here can be with any of the carbon atoms of the alkyne because it is a symmetrical type of alkyne molecule. So let us say that the negative end of our 1,3 dipole is interacting with this carbon atom, and then this carbon atom here is interacting with the positive end of our 1,3 dipole of the mesoionic, resulting in the formation of a bond in between this as well as this carbon atom, which you can see here, and then in between this carbon and this nitrogen atom, which you can see here in this structure, right? So we will be getting this type of cyclic adduct, which actually resembles this molecule here, right? And now let us see that whether the cleavage of this bond from here, I mean the nitrogen and the oxygen, is possible or not. And we can say here that after cleavage, whatever positive charge will come here over the nitrogen atom, if it is stabilized by some effects, this is actually a favorable type of reaction, and it will be moving in this direction here, right? And we can see here the positive charge here is actually resonance stabilized because of the presence of a carbon-carbon double bond here, such that these electrons can shift here onto this side. This will now become a carbon double bond nitrogen, giving a carbon single bond carbon here, and the positive charge will now appear on this carbon atom, I mean this carbon atom here, right? So because it is resonance stabilized, yes, it is resonance stabilized, the positive charge is stable here, it will be moving in this direction, resulting in the formation of this type of intermediate, which then will release a molecule of CO2 in this way. I mean this will now become oxygen double bond, this carbon here oxygen negative, this will once again shift here like this, resulting in the breaking of this bond, I mean this negative charge and single bond oxygen. This is now a double bond oxygen. This will once again shift here, sending these electrons onto this carbon atom, such that now this carbon atom bearing this R2 group here will now be having a negative charge, and this nitrogen was having this positive charge here in this way, right? So finally what happens is that being charges here on this molecule means instability. So in order to disperse these charges, what will happen is some sort of tautomerization will take place here, means these electrons will shift here, sending these electrons onto this side, finally giving this type of substituted pyrazole molecule as the final product, right? So this means the reaction of our 1,3 dipole sydnone mesoionic with symmetrical type of alkyne acting as the dipolarophile and following a 1,3 dipolar type of cycloaddition reaction results in the formation of this type of cyclic adduct first of all, and then it releases a molecule of CO2 resulting in the formation of this substituted pyrazole as the final product. And now here is the second reaction, and in this the reactant, the first reactant is same, of course, it is our mesoionic sydnone molecule. The second reactant is what you can see here, it is the benzyne intermediate, which will now be acting as our dipolarophile, and we are providing heat to this reaction, finally resulting in the formation of this type of pyrazole once again, but now because it is attached to a benzene ring, so better to call it as a benzo type of pyrazole molecule. Now let's have a look on the mechanism of this reaction. So it can be represented in this type of resonating structure in which this nitrogen is having a positive charge. This single bond oxygen negative will now become a double bond oxygen, giving a negative charge on this carbon atom in this way, right? So once again, being symmetrical, there will not be any issues of regioselectivity, and the negative end, let us say, of our dipole is interacting with this carbon atom, and then this carbon atom is interacting with the positive end of our 1,3 dipole of this mesoionic, giving this type of cyclic adduct by the formation of a bond in between this carbon and this carbon and this carbon and this nitrogen atom, and we will end up with this type of cyclic adduct here, right? And once again, let us just check it out whether the cleavage of this nitrogen oxygen bond is possible or not. We will see that after cleavage, whatever positive charge will appear on this nitrogen atom, it is stabilized because of resonance, because of the presence of this type of phenyl ring here, right? So I have shown here, I mean this single bond is what it is, this single bond nitrogen. When these electrons will shift here, it will give, of course, a double bond in this way. Moreover, a positive sign will appear on this carbon atom, which you can see here. And after that, these electrons will shift here onto this side, giving a double bond in this way with a positive charge now present on this carbon atom. And finally, these electrons will come here, giving a double bond like this and a positive charge on this carbon atom. And finally, this will come here, giving once again a double bond, and the positive charge will now be appearing on this nitrogen atom. This means that whatever positive charge is present here on this nitrogen atom, it is actually resonance stabilized and it is being dispersed here in this type of manner. I mean in this type of manner here onto the carbon atoms of the benzene ring here because of resonance, right? So the positive charge here is actually dispersed in this way here, right? And it is then coming back to this nitrogen atom, right? So greater the dispersal of the charge, greater is this stability. This means, yes, the positive charge is very stable here and the cleavage is definitely possible. So the release of now the molecule of CO2 will be taking place, giving now a negative charge on this carbon atom bearing this R2 group, which you can see here, the negative charge on this carbon atom, right? And finally, these negative electrons will shift here onto this side, sending these pi electrons onto the carbon and the nitrogen bond, giving what? Giving a double bond here. Let me draw here for you. This is the benzene ring here, having one double bond, second double bond. This will now become a double bond, and moreover this will also become a double bond here. The nitrogen, this is having one R2 group here, and this is the nitrogen having R1, and we will be having a structure something like this, which is exactly equal to this benzopyrazole. That is our final product of this reaction, right? So the mesoionic with benzyne as a dipolarophile under conditions of high temperature will result in the formation of benzopyrazole type of products with the usual 1,3 dipolar type of cycloaddition. And the important thing to note here is that the positive charge is stable here on this nitrogen because of this type of resonance dispersal, or let us say resonance stabilization. And the next reaction is, as you can see here, is with the symmetrical type of alkene molecules. So here is our symmetrical alkene molecule, which will be acting as the dipolarophile in this reaction. And here is our 1,3 dipole, that same old reaction, that is the 1,3 dipolar cycloaddition, resulting in the formation of this type of cyclic adduct. And now we have something new here. You can see that here in this step for the removal of carbon dioxide, harsh reaction conditions are being provided, resulting in the formation of pyrazolene as the final product molecules, right? So the mechanism is quite similar. Here is the resonating structure of our mesoionic molecule, and on this side you can see is present our symmetrical alkene, and moreover there will not be present any issues of regioselectivity because it is symmetrical. So we can show here the negative end of the dipole interacting with this carbon, and then this carbon atom interacting with the positive end of the dipole, that is this nitrogen atom here, resulting in the formation of this type of cyclic adduct by the formation of two new bonds. The first one is this one here and second is this one here, right? And now if we give it a look, that let us say the cleavage is taking place from here, resulting in the formation of this type of positive charge. We will see here that in this case this positive charge is quite unstable. The first thing is that it is present on the electronegative nitrogen atom. Moreover, no effect, I mean no type of resonance effect and no type of inductive effect is present here which can stabilize this positive charge, right? So this means the transformation of this cyclic adduct molecule into this type of intermediate is otherwise not possible until and unless we are providing here a lot amount of energy. And you can see here that we are providing harsh reaction conditions in the form of what? In the form of a lot of energy, that is temperature of 110 degrees Celsius for 50 hours. Okay, so let me tell you that these reaction conditions are quite harsh type of reaction conditions, that is heating some molecule at 110 degrees Celsius for 50 hours, right? So whatever energy is required for the formation of this type of unstable structure starting from something stable, I mean this cyclic adduct, will be compensated by this much amount of energy here that is being provided by this much of heat for this much of time here, right? So although the positive charge here was unstable, but still the reaction is going on in this direction because of a lot amount of energy which is being provided to this reaction here, right? So I want to mention here that this research work is available in this journal here, that is of Chem. The year is what you can see from here, it is 1962. I mean this research was carried out in the year of 1962. This is the volume here, means for this journal 1962 year there are present a lot of volumes, and this particular research is present in the first volume, and this is the page number, right? The page number is 49, right? So providing this much of harsh conditions will result in the elimination of a molecule of CO2 from here, such that now what is going to happen is these electrons will come here, sending these electrons onto this side, means a negative charge on this carbon atom bearing this R2 group here. Finally, this will be attracting one H positive ion from here. I mean this H positive ion, or let us say a proton shift will take place. That will be a type of a 1,3 proton shift here, 1,3 proton shift here, such that when this H positive will move from here, what will happen is it will result in the formation of CHR here, single bond Cr. This will now become a negative charge, single bond, adjacent to which the nitrogen is having a positive charge, single bond. This is the nitrogen having the R1 group here. And on this side, when this carbon atom bearing the R2 group will take that H positive ion, the negative charge here will be neutralized, and we can show that hydrogen in this way, right? And now because this carbon and nitrogen, they are having opposite charges, so we can better show now a double bond in between them, such that this is what, this is the final pyroxylene molecule, I mean the final product of this reaction here. So we can say that the reaction of our sydnone molecule, which will be acting as the 1,3 dipole with a symmetrical alkene acting as the dipolarophile. First of all, we will get a cyclic adduct which is quite stable, and if we are not providing harsh reaction conditions, the reaction will definitely stop here at this stage. Let me write here, it will stop here at this stage, such that the final product of that reaction will be what? It will be this cyclic adduct, but this is not happening. Why? Because we are providing these harsh conditions, and the reaction will be forwarded, eliminating a molecule of CO2, resulting in the formation of these type of pyroxylene structures. And now is the case of an intramolecular type of cycloaddition, which means within the same molecule and in which some unsymmetrical type of alkene is present, right? So you can see here in this structure, this is our mesoionic molecule, which is the sydnone molecule actually, and it is acting as the 1,3 dipole here, right? 1,3 dipole here, and this is a part associated with this nitrogen atom, and this is also having this type of alkene or olefinic double bond, which can act as a dipolarophile, right? So the reaction will be taking place within this molecule. That is why we are calling it as an intramolecular type of cycloaddition. And you can see here, we can represent this structure in this way here. I have just redrawn this structure in this way for more clarity of the mechanism, such that now you can see here, here is our olefinic double bond, in which this carbon atom is of course less sterically hindered because it contains 2 hydrogen atoms, and this is having 1 hydrogen and 1 big R group here, right? So obviously the negative end of our 1,3 dipole, I mean of the mesoionic compound, will be interacting with that carbon atom which is less sterically hindered, and which is this CH2 here, right? And the second carbon atom of the olefinic double bond will be interacting with this positive end of the dipole, which is this nitrogen atom in the present case. So here is the 1,3 dipole molecule, and this is the dipolarophile, and both are present in the same molecule, right? So it is a type of an intramolecular type of reaction, such that now it will result in the formation of 2 new bonds. The first one is this bond, I mean in between this carbon, and the second one is this bond here, which is in between this carbon and this nitrogen atom, right? And we can always show this type of structure into an equivalent type of structure, which is this here, and this is the final product. The reaction will simply stop here at this stage, because if we keep on going towards the elimination of a CO2 molecule, what will happen is a positive charge will appear here that will not be stabilized by any kind of resonance or any kind of phenomena. So in this case, the cleavage from here is not taking place, and the reaction is simply stopping here at this stage, resulting in the formation of this molecule as the final product, right? So we can say here that if this is the starting molecule, we are getting this as the final product, and this is whatever I have shown here on this side, this is the mechanism of this reaction, right? So in this way, the intramolecular cycloaddition reaction with some unsymmetrical alkene present in the same molecule gives this type of final product here, right? And now we are left with the last reaction for this lecture, which is some intermolecular cycloaddition reaction with unsymmetrical type of alkenes, right? So let me go slow here. First of all, it is an intermolecular reaction because it is in between 2 different molecules. The first one is this here, and the second one is this here, right? And this is our 1,3 dipole, and this alkene here is acting as the dipolarophile, so it is a type of a cycloaddition reaction. And moreover, you can see here the alkene is actually an unsymmetrical type of alkene containing 2 double bonds here. And now we can easily decide here that the equivalent resonating structure of our 1,3 dipole mesoionic sydnone will be interacting with either this olefinic double bond here or this one here. Okay, the answer is quite easy, because this olefinic double bond here is less sterically hindered. It contains 3 hydrogen atoms. You can count from here 1, 2 and 3, and only 1 R group here. On the other hand, this carbon atom, this double bond here is containing 2 hydrogen atoms and 2 R groups here, right? What I'm trying to say here is that here is the dipolarophile. Let me draw the structure here. CH2 double bond C, CH3 here, single bond CH double bond CH2, right? Because it contains 2 different double bonds, so it can act as 2 different kinds of dipolarophiles. And in order to decide that out of these 2 double bonds, which will actually be acting as our main dipolarophile in this reaction, what we can say here is that if we talk about this double bond here, it contains 1, 2, and 3. It contains 3 hydrogen atoms plus 1 R group here, which you can see is present here, right? This is the R group bonded to this carbon atom. So we can call it as 1 R group and 3 hydrogen atoms. But now if we talk about this olefinic double bond, it contains just 2 hydrogen atoms. So let me write here 2 hydrogen atoms plus it contains 2 R groups. The first one is this R group here and this is the second R group here. So it will be 2 hydrogens plus 2 R groups, right? So obviously out of this olefinic double bond and this one here, it is this double bond which is less sterically hindered and it will be interacting with our 1,3 dipole molecule which I have shown here, right? So moreover, out of this carbon and this carbon of this less sterically hindered double bond, this carbon atom is still less sterically hindered, so that the negative end of the dipole will be interacting with this carbon atom here, resulting in the formation of a bond like this. And this will be interacting with the positive end of the dipole, which is the nitrogen atom in this present case, resulting in the formation of a new bond, which you can see here. It is this bond here, right? And now we will be getting this type of cyclic adduct here in this reaction with unsymmetrical alkene, and this is an intermolecular cycloaddition. So now, even in this case, if we go for the cleavage of this nitrogen-oxygen bond, what will happen is a negative charge will appear here and a positive charge will appear here on this side, such that we can see here, based upon this structure, the positive charge here is quite unstable because it is not stabilized by any type of resonance effect. So let me write here, there is no resonance phenomena here which can stabilize this positive charge. There is no inductive effect also which can stabilize this positive charge, right? So, but as you can see here, we are once again providing harsh reaction conditions and high temperatures for a long period of time. So what will happen is that the elimination of this molecule of CO2 will be going to take place, and this research here is mentioned in this paper, that is the Bulletin of Chemical Society, Japan. 1976 is the year, 49 is the volume, and the page number is 748, right? So the conditions are mentioned here to be 150 degrees Celsius of heating for a prolonged period of time, that is 24 hours, right? So what will happen is, obviously, heating leads to decarboxylation, right? So even in this case, the decarboxylation is taking place, sending CO2 out of the system in this way, which I have shown by these sky blue colored arrows. So this bond here will be shifting here, giving a double bond. These bonds will be shifting here onto this side, sending this H out of the system, and these electrons are shifting from here to here, such that some type of defragmentation is taking place, resulting in the formation of a double bond here, which you can see here from this arrow, and a double bond here, which you can see here, it is from this arrow, and this CO2 is going out of the system, resulting in the formation of this type of final product, which is exactly same as that of this product here, right? So this is all about the synthesis as well as the 5 different chemical reactions of the sydnone mesoionic type A 8th molecule, right? So we are now left with the photochemical reactions of this sydnone mesoionic that we will be taking up in the next video lecture, and this is all for this lecture here. Thank you so much.